What's the day today, Bob?
Hi, today is day number 5. Our 5th day at sea. Day number 5 on the briny, on the ocean. And we are very happy. It's Grumpy Granddad day today. The skipper's been feeling very unwell. Decided to stop taking his seasick tablets. Who's the silly boy? Haven't been sick, but was not feeling too good. And then we discovered a problem with the engine. A recurring one from yesterday. Yesterday we discovered a fuel leak on the engine. And today we started up the engine and just checked in there to make sure the fuel leak was okay, and the fuel leak was not okay. The fuel leak was not okay. I'll say that again. Been eating cookies, been eating biscuits. The fuel leak was not okay. It was started dribbling again from the other end of the stopcock. So had to get in the engine room and fix it, and that made me feel very unwell indeed. But never mind, these are the trials and tribulations of being on the ocean. Very pleased to say we have made 8 nautical miles towards our destination in the last 23 hours. We logged something like 80 miles on the GPS, but only 8 miles good towards Cherbourg. And the reason for that is because we're chasing north to find westerly wind, on strong advice from our weather routers. So, given that most of the pilots, the guidebooks say that that's exactly what you should do, you should stand north from the Azores until you hit westerlies. It's exactly what we're doing. We're almost due north of the Azores. North with a little bit of east in it actually, so we are a little bit good towards our destination. In terms of the rum line, we're actually about 200 miles good towards our destination, with still something like 1,050 miles to go. So I guess we could have been better if we got on the other tack, but then you get a chance when you hit westerlies being blown into the Bay of Biscay, which is a very nasty piece of sea indeed. And if you become embayed in there, then you could end up on a lee shore. Pretty unlikely that would happen, but nevertheless the sea hits the continental shelf as you get into Biscay. The seas stand up very high and very short, very steep, and it can be very dangerous, especially for a small boat. So it's best to head off into the ocean to the north, and that's exactly what we're doing. Mr. Bigglesworth, as you can see, is in dignified repose. He's discovered he quite likes it in his little basket thing we bought for him. He also discovered he likes just gently dribbling a little bit of pea or cat juice or whatever it is that makes these things smell when mixed with a little bit of spray and salt water. So it's a little bit whiffy, but never mind. Made a few installations on the boat over the last couple of days. All boats have the problem of their genoa sheet, which is this red thing here, chafing on the guard wires at some point, and it's a constant question of rerouting, of the Americans amongst you rerouting the rope itself, or the sheet itself, so that it no longer chafes. You can either have it over the top of the top guard wire, between the top and the middle guard wire, or underneath the bottom guard wire. So notwithstanding that, you still get some chafe. It goes up and down chase on there. So I bought some foam rubber stuff, one of those things that you wrap around yourself to float in the ocean. Slid
noodle. It's called a noodle.
Oh, it's called a noodle, evidently, a foam noodle that you wrap around yourself to float in the swimming pool or whatever. And slid it down one side into its centre and pushed it onto the guard wire and wrapped masking tape or gaffer tape around it. And it kind of works, kind of doesn't work. But then we have these 2 boards that we use as running boards, or not exactly as running boards, but we store the fuel cans up against them. They're attached to the lower of the guard wires, so I had to wrap some foam rubber around that. And I did that. And you might be able to see over my right shoulder here that in doing so, I actually managed to gaffer tape or masking tape around one of the ropes on the boat. The rope in question is actually the guy for the spinnaker pole. The guy for the spinnaker pole. That's not somebody that stowed aboard, unbeknownst to us, some guy. That's actually the rope that comes from the spinnaker pole and stops it moving forward when you have it set. The sailors amongst you will understand that, so I don't wish to be patronising to you. If you're not a sailor, I wish to be very, very patronising indeed, because today I am a grumpy granddad. So, I don't know if you can see it, maybe you can.
I'll just hand
okay.
down.
You're going to have a look at it. Perhaps you can see the rope going up, where you see the yellow thing. You'll see this wonderful rope here. The blue one, the top one of those, is actually gaffer taped to the board, so that's not going to work, is it? So we'll have to do a fix on that later on. Pause for dramatic music.
Just getting closer.
Just getting it close up, as said Guy. You okay, Guy? Meanwhile, I'm chomping on my cookies, my biscuits. The skies are grey. We have started wearing these things. It's starting to feel a lot like Europe. We've still got 1,000 miles to go to Europe, but in terms of our latitude, it's feeling a lot like Europe. Much chillier. And very nice for all of that. Actually, it's quite a nice sensation after so long in hot climates where it can be very uncomfortable. This is going to be uncomfortable, but not yet. It's not coldy handy time yet. I've discovered I suffered from arthritis, so I'm quadruply a grumpy granddad today. So I took some tablets for it. I've actually suffered from it for quite a long time. I took some tablets for it, and the danger with taking those tablets is, yes, it eases it, but when the effect of the tablet wears off, you really notice it. So now I'm noticing it. So I'm having to eat lots of these to make myself a little chirpier and a little more cheerful, because there's nothing worse for the first mate than having a grumpy skipper on board. True?
True.
True. I have nods of agreement in back of camera. Or behind the camera, should I say, because technically this is back of camera. So here we are. Miles still to go, waiting for the wind to free up so we can bear around a little bit closer towards our destination. When that happens, we should be a lot cheerier. Yeah. Meanwhile, I have a mug full of cappuccino with a little bit of sugar-free vanilla. So it's kind of like a grande sugar-free vanilla soy cappuccino, but not soy, because it's not made of soy. So there you go. Okay, have I missed? I know, I'm a silly granddad as well today. Have I missed anything else, Al?
Well, apart from the additions to the boat, we actually carried some fuel with us this time, which we didn't do last time.
Yeah, so we are actually carrying some extra fuel with us. We didn't do that last time, so we were eternally worried that we were going to run out of fuel, not be able to motor the last bit into the Azores. So I determined that we'll have at least one 5-gallon or 20-litre can of fuel there in reserve. And this time actually we have 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. And we also have 3...
We had 3 lots of water last time.
3 lots of water, so which we had last time, so that's great. So we have that extra fuel, and so far we've hardly used any fuel. So we'll probably be able to sail the whole darn way to our destination. And that's a life on the ocean wave. Very pleased to report that Wally the Wind Vane is behaving absolutely perfectly. He's doing us proud this time around. So hats off to Wally the Wind Vane.
It's probably because he's got his old chum cover back on.
Yes, he's got his old cover. We put a new cover back on. He was kind of like bridling against it. He didn't like it, and then we damaged that when we arrived. So we had to remove it and put the old one back on. And now he's saying, I'm happy because I have my old wind vane cover, my red wind vane cover back on. All right, Wally. All right, he's kind of nodding to me like this. This is what wind vanes do. They kind of go like that, and then they go, and then they go like that, and they go like that. Maybe we'll show you at the end of this video clip. No, I don't think we're going to show you. Right, okay, well I don't have anything further to report other than being a grumpy granddad, or a grumpy skipper. And with that, I shall leave you and speak to you again tomorrow. At least I hope I will. Thanks for listening in.
You know you will.
You know you will, yes. Yum. Okay, Mr. B.